Greetings from Van Buren, Arkansas. Come along with me as I share my weekend travel guide for some of the best things to do, eat, and see in Van Buren. Arkansas is known as the natural state. Van Buren offers an abundance of outdoor recreational opportunities from boating, fishing, and hiking. I headed over to Creek Reservoir Recreation Area to hike. I selected the 1.5-mile cemetery loop. You heard me right, you can hike through an old cemetery. If that is not your thing, there are 3 other trails that lead from the same trailhead. If the great outdoors is not your vibe, Van Buren's got you covered. There are plenty of chances to shop. Antique stores, boutiques, and specialty shops line Main Street in the heart of the historic district. And don't forget about the snack options. I didn't know what happened here, but I did find out later, and I will tell you later in this video. Hop into What's Popping for all your gourmet popcorn needs. Seriously, try the sea salt caramel. You will not be disappointed. Plus, they have saltwater taffy, which is one of my weaknesses. I cannot tell you how many pieces of peppermint taffy I ate. That's between me and the lady that checked me out. Main Street candy and fudge is amazing. If you love fudge, you must stop in.
Hi.
Buy a pound and you get a half-pound free, which of course I did, so I didn't have to make a decision on which flavor. So good. On select nights, the historic King Opera House offers $5 movie nights, and Casper was playing when I was in town, so of course I had to go watch it. I forgot how cute that movie is. The movies are offered by Arts on Main, which is an organization that offers art classes, showcases art exhibits in their gallery, and facilitates the programs and events held inside the King Opera House. I plan on discussing the Opera House in greater detail and its haunted history with a walkthrough video in the future, so please subscribe so that you don't miss out. The crown jewel of entertainment for Van Buren has to be the Excursion train. The train departs from the historic Van Buren Depot and is a scenic railway experience offered by the Arkansas and Missouri Railroad. After departing from Van Buren and reaching the destination in Winslow, the train returns to Van Buren, making it a 3-hour round-trip experience. The journey allows passengers to enjoy scenic views of the Boston Mountains, crossing over high trestles and through the 1,700-foot Winslow Tunnel. It offers views of rivers, forests, and valleys. The leaves were just beginning to change and will be breathtaking when they are in full peak color. The train features beautifully restored passenger cars from the 1920s to 1950s, providing the nostalgic experience with comfortable seating. This excursion is a great way for tourists and locals to enjoy the natural landscape and rich railroad history of the region. I completed the train experience twice while I was in town, and I'll be doing a full-length video soon to tell you about the two different train cars I rode on, which one I preferred, and why. Where are my history buffs at? The Drennan Scott House is a must-see. Initially, it was the residence of Revolutionary War descendant John Drennan and his family. It is now a working laboratory for the University of Arkansas Fort Smith students as they recreate this century-and-a-half-year-old home. The site is linked to the Trail of Tears, the Underground Railroad, and the Civil War. Built in 1838, the home was continuously occupied by the Drennan family until the property was acquired by the university in 2005.
Video you saw that started as one-room house. You're in the one room. This was the house. The front door is behind that picture right there, and there's your back door.
Oh, wow.
If there were any windows at all, they'd been much smaller because they couldn't make the glass that large back then. Wallpaper on the walls and ceiling is close to the original we could get. University of Arkansas Fairview has been down and drilled and dated our wood. That's how we got a timeline how the house was built. They can tell you that white oak timber there in the floor was cut in the spring of 1838. They can tell you some of the decking and rafters up here were cut before, earlier than that, to give them a chance to season before they started the building process.
The sprawling single-story home and its contents are listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
So yes, they had some money. But after the Civil War, the Great Depression, and some bad investments, the family ended up broke. They had their name, the estate furnishings, but the money had pretty much dried up.
The home is only open for tours on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays from April to November. It's open from 10 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. There's free admission, but donations are accepted. If you are into more quirky and unique sites, don't miss out on visiting this unusual grave located at Fairview Cemetery. It is clearly very old. Its design is significantly different from the other early graves still preserved in the cemetery. Made of large slabs of stone which have weathered greatly over the years. It definitely looks mysterious, but whose grave does this belong to?
This grave is known as the Mystery Grave. It is rumored to be one of the soldiers of Hernando de Soto, whose expedition crossed Arkansas in 1542. The man reportedly died and was buried here in what is present-day Van Buren, Arkansas. It's definitely an old grave. There used to be a plaque on there. It's long gone. Some kind of other stone in there, but you can't really read it. Definitely a grave with a little mystery and a little unknown.
John Drennan, whose home we toured, is the man who donated land for the city cemetery in 1846. After the Civil War began in 1861, the city of Van Buren donated a plot of land in the 10-acre city cemetery to bury the soldiers that died in the Civil War. At least 100 Confederate soldiers, most of whom died of disease, were buried at the site during the war. The other remains were moved there from battlefield graves after the war ended. Ultimately, around 460 soldiers were interred here at the site. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places on December 6, 1996. Many are listed as unknown Confederate soldiers. The ones that contain names, I wonder if they were local men who were able to be identified by townspeople. I'm not sure on that. I'm purely speculating. I love this wrought iron fence. I stopped by and visited the Drennens before I left the cemetery. I noticed a sign for a ghost walk, so obviously I said heck yeah. The investigators from the Arkansas Ghost Hunters of Crawford County walked me around town, telling me about the history of the buildings and discussed the spirits that never left. After the walk, they invited me to go on a little paranormal investigation with them in one of the historical buildings on Main Street that they have access to, so of course I said yes to that also. The building is currently being remodeled, so not much inside. I'll show a picture of the building. I went back the next day to snap a pic.
A friend of mine used to have this. It used to be EKG Firearms. They're now down there at Citizens Bank. But while he was in here, he told me he could hear people walking around upstairs, but nobody was up there.
The ghost hunters are the ones who told me the sad story about the tragedy on Main Street. Just before 8 p.m. on June 21st, 1985, a semi-truck was traveling on Logtown Hill Road near the railroad tracks by the depot. The truck's brakes malfunctioned. The vehicle entered the intersection going airborne, landing on top of a large station wagon that was stopped on Main Street waiting for the light. The force of the momentum pushed the vehicles into the building that once stood there. It was a pharmacy. The vehicles landed in the basement area. A fire ignited, causing an explosion. The park area was erected to honor the lives lost. If this had been during the day when the pharmacy was open, there would have been even more loss of life. So sad.
Last night on the ghost tour, I learned the building that my Airbnb is in was a former brothel owned by Pearl Star, and her mother was Outlaw Bellstar. Interesting history of the building. you look at the top, you can see pearl. There's little stars with pearls up there. Kind of hard to see.
Let me know in the comments if you want to see inside my Airbnb and I'll do a video on it. I did not forget about the food. I will plan trips specifically around places I want to eat. Where are my people at? Let me know if you do this. Tell me I'm not the only one. The Vault 1905 Sports Grill was recently featured on an episode of America's Best Restaurants. It did not disappoint. This building has had several lives, and I would love to investigate it in the future for paranormal activity if I ever return to Van Buren. Part of the building has been a general store, barbershop, newspaper, Masonic Hall, a bank obviously, and in 1867, the kitchen and the back bar area was used as a Civil War hospital. Say what? Full of history. Back to the topic at hand, the food. The only downside was my eyes were bigger than my stomach. I made the unfortunate mistake of saying yes to their Thursday special, which was a 16-ounce chicken fried steak with choice of 2 sides. I selected mashed potatoes and gravy and okra. Plus it came with Texas toast. Way too much food for one person. I had plenty of leftovers. Yummy garlic bread and red sauce for starters. I did the select 2 for my dinner so I could try the lasagna and fettuccine alfredo. It was so good. I had so much food left over from the Vault and Pasta Grill. I didn't go anywhere for dinner my last night in town, but I did go and grab brunch at the Breakfast Club before I headed home.
Hi.
All 3 restaurants were delicious and I would recommend. Definitely looking forward to visiting them again next time I'm in Van Buren. If anybody wants to buy me anything for Christmas, I would take this building. I love her. Seriously, love, love, love her. It was an amazing weekend. I really enjoyed spending time in the historic district, and because I stayed directly on Main Street, I walked almost everywhere I went. Highly recommend Van Buren if you're ever looking for a fun getaway. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been to Van Buren. Until next time, bye for now.